Do-do-do-do-do. Boo-doo-boo-boo. Indiana Mat Live.
Well, that's our intro song now, thanks to Nick and his great acoustic skills. We'll have to tweak that a little bit.
If you
Hopefully, he
follow me
won't.
on Facebook, I did just release a sick song yesterday with the guitar, ladies.
I did
Yes,
watch it. I did watch it.
You liked it.
yeah.
I
The
like
neighborhood dogs were howling for some odd reason.
Yeah, they were going along with it. It was great.
Yes, they were. That's exactly. Yeah. So hey, it tweeted out that we started a live stream. That must mean we're live here. Welcome to our first hangout of the year. As you can tell, there's Cubbies right there, World Series champs.
Boo.
First time in like 2 or 3 years.
Boo.
Something like that.
I know. Mike's biting his tongue here. So is Nick. But welcome. We have Nick Wiesjan, who hates all rankings.
I do, apparently. I didn't know Dane Fueling dropped himself on his head while rebuilding his house, but I hope the concussion heals soon because something's wrong with him.
You didn't have Wi-Fi right now, and you're dogging them.
Yeah, well,
Oh goodness. Whoa, that's in Spanish too. That's
como
interesting.
te llama?
Tweeted out in Spanish.
For all of our,
I just got
for
back
all
from
of our
Mexico.
Latino viewers out there, como
Yeah.
como
My
se
fans
llama?
that I met in Mexico.
Me gusta lucha libre.
Yes, we are equal opportunity. So hey, we will. If you are Hispanic, half my family is. So
Half my
gotta-
family is too.
yeah. So anyway, been a fun off season, I guess. Too short of a season. I know lots of things have happened in personal lives and in the wrestling world. I guess give a quick recap on what the off season entailed. I know that one of the biggest things was the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic that Indiana got invited to. That was a lot of fun for the kids. Pretty cool environment. I mean, other than the state finals, I don't think anyone's wrestled in front of a crowd like that. And plus, on top of that, I mean, they were all pro PA guys, so it was a little hostile there, which is fun. Fun being a bad guy. And Nick relishes in that forum there.
They hated me at who's number one.
Yes.
If
Yes.
no one was getting booed, I make sure there was a boo being heard.
Yes. Nick loves playing the heel. I don't know if he could ever. Yeah, he wouldn't be good as a face. So
Them's wrestling terms.
yes, them's are. So pretty cool going to the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic. I know we didn't win, but I think we lost like 6 matches by 1 or 2 points. So it was fun. Really excited. It's pretty cool to go with the guys and had a great time. They took us they had a real nice dinner the Friday night, then Saturday all day pretty much until we wrestled. I mean, they gave us a little bit of a break, but we did a boat tour of Pittsburgh. So we were up and down the river. It was pretty neat. Had dinner, and things like that. So, treated the kids right, and it was a lot of fun. And hopefully we'll get to go back soon sometime because it's pretty neat being on that stage. Flow Wrestling's, broadcasting live and things like that. Kids don't get to be on that kind of a stage very often without having to, be nationally number 1 or 2 in the country. So, any comments on that, guys?
Yeah,
I
that was
wasn't invited.
go ahead, Nick.
I wasn't invited.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool opportunity for Indiana, and it was a good opportunity for some of the guys that got to double up, Drew Hughes, Owen Doster. Just to kind of go out there and see how you compete against some of the top kids in the country. Obviously, Drew did really well. He beat a kid that was ranked higher than he was at the time. Doster had kind of wrestled a buzzsaw.
Yeah, yes, he did. Yeah, that was a pretty cool event. Nick, what do you think of it? You hear anything good or bad?
I saw there was a really cool blanket you could get. No, I mean, I didn't hear a lot about it. I watched it and everything, but it's just good to get out there and be a part of things. It's hard to see Indiana getting out there and get recognized a lot of the times. It feels like we have people just kind of hanging out and almost just doing things to make their programs or something stand out, not to just the whole state in general. And this was a thing that went out there and just put the state as a whole on the map. So that was an impressive thing and something much needed.
Yes, it was. It was pretty. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not just, I know Portage goes. They wrestled Detroit Central Catholic, but like Detroit Central Catholic, or when Penn wrestled Oak Park, things like that. They're putting their individual programs in the spotlight, those types of things, or even an individual kid going to whatever national tournament and doing well. It's pretty neat to see those guys go out there and compete, and showed that you can compete with the best guys. Pennsylvania's tough as nails. So in other news, since someone couldn't get it for me, we one of the cooler off-season things that happened is we got the National Website of the Year award from the National Wrestling Media Association. Definitely these two guys sitting here, big thanks to them for all the help they've done, whether it's in the front or in the back end of things. Pretty cool to be honored by people, in your peers, people like that you always hear about, these writers, photographers, all these people, and these people are honoring us as just a slow website in Indiana. So that's pretty cool. So definitely want to say thanks to Mike, and then everyone else, Dustin, Chad, Dane. Nick doesn't like Dane right now, but
I hope he gets better from that concussion.
Yes. Steve Craw and Jeremy Hines, who write their weekly articles, things. I mean, there's so many people that have helped out with the website. Cameron Drury, it's pretty neat to see, all those people's work and contributions to the site. Definitely very appreciative of them. So pretty neat to get an award like that. Definitely. So that I don't have my mug with me. I need to start drinking out of it when we're hanging out, when we're at our hangouts. I think that should be a key thing.
Just drink out of it all the time. I haven't drank out of it yet.
Yeah, there you go. Not too much. I save it for special occasions.
Haven't had many though.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't get one.
Oh, there it is.
Mine says Nick Leishon. I think
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah,
It's almost like they were like, he shouldn't get one.
I thought we were all just trading.
It's a traveling trophy.
Perfect.
Yeah, we definitely need to drink out of these when we're when we're at when we're on our hangouts. And then Nick will even feel even worse.
No, it's cool. I'm getting my Titanfall 2 double XP.
And then we'll just all cheers. Except for
Yes.
Nick.
Nick, my wife can, I think, make these, so we'll get you one made up.
It's good.
Maybe we'll spell your name right, unlike in the magazine.
Yeah, well, I feel like I deserve something. I came up with the Gorilla Cage.
Well, you did have a state championship ring that we don't have. Any of us.
You want to see it? I'd have to go get it.
It's a class state championship. It doesn't count.
That's true.
And a tattoo.
I do have a tattoo.
You guys couldn't beat Belmont, I don't think, or Prairie Heights.
Well, that's how we should finish it. Even though, we should get everyone and just do a round robin just to see who's the best.
Yes. So.
Going on a high note.
Oh yeah. Fast forwarding a little bit, I guess the other off-season type stuff, and we'll kind of start into more recent, is our a lot of college signings. This early signings already this year, which is good for our kids, good for the state. Lots of interesting signings, I guess, for we don't just see the guys who are staying in state. We have guys going to Army, West Point, which is pretty neat, pretty good school, pretty good. Right, they're starting to build their wrestling team is getting a little bit better each year. Gunnar Larson, Brad Laughlin. Laughlin had a heck of an off season, won a IPO title, and then went on to place 4th at Super 32. Yeah. Evan Ellis just signed officially with Brown University, and if you guys don't know where that is, that's in Rhode Island.
What?
Really, really tiny state. And they're in the Ivy League, so that's, obviously he has not only some good skills on the mat, but good skills in the classroom.
He's really good at cheating on tests, I've been told.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure. Another big one is Jeremiah Wright. He just signed. I just saw the pictures earlier today. He signed with Duke, another pretty prestigious academic institution. And he cut his hair.
Can we discuss his hair real quick?
What?
Gus Wright's hair real quick? He
Can you-
looks like a male model. Like, why is he wrestling right now? He should be doing shampoo commercials with Troy Polamalu.
He cut his hair. By the way, it's like this, except for a little bit thicker.
He's dead to me. Dead to me. Take him off the magazine.
Yeah. If you want to know a funny one, if the magazine, the cover was done by one of my wrestlers here at Carroll, and I gave him the pictures and stuff, and he's like, "Who's the who's the one that's the Goldilocks?" I said, "Oh, that's Jeremiah." So, other ones signings. Oh, what? Oh, you put the picture up there. Put it up again. You got it. Hold on.
Perfect hair.
Yes, perfect hair. Look at that, man. That's Fabio type, not
Yeah.
Fabio.
Not Fabio Jr.
No.
Man, just cutting deep today, Joe.
Nick's just an angry person right now. He's so fired up about rankings. I'm just waiting. I'm just gonna let him loose for about a half hour and just
Oh,
rain.
dude, we'll do it at the end when everyone's like, "All right, we can leave."
We're gonna return to the rant.
Yeah, yes.
It's just gonna be incoherent babbling at the end of it.
Nick's rant against rankings, why they're stupid.
I'll
Today's
offend
article,
somebody for
they
you.
aren't.
And actually, that doesn't sound like a bad segment name, but continue.
And other signings, Braden Bailey to Northern Illinois, which was kind of surprising. I don't know. I've talked to a couple coaches and stuff, and even talked to him this fall. I was asking, where you're looking at and stuff. And Northern Illinois wasn't on the radar until about the day that he announced it that I heard. Like, oh, okay. So that's pretty nice. That's where Brock Hudkins is. Hudkins wrestled this weekend. I think he's pretty much the starter there. They've been kind of rotating in, but he's not going to. Hudkins isn't redshirt, which is nice. So we'll see him in action. Andrew Davison signed with Michigan, so that's a good pickup for them. He had a real good offseason. Placed third at the Al Smith. Nick Lee, I heard he's decent. I don't know. What do you guys think, Nick Lee?
He's going to what? Marion, right?
I think he's wrestling for the Carl Sanders.
Carl Sanders. His
Yeah.
chicken's really good.
Yeah.
Big fan of the biscuits.
Yeah, he's we'll get on that subject in a little bit, but he's going to go to Penn State. Actually not go, he's already there. And he had a decent weekend here. Paul Conrath, he's going to go to Wisconsin. Got a couple others that are on there, but pretty good. It's such a wide range of schools.
Hey, since this is a little spoiler, since Nick wrestled in that tournament, he can't compete in high school tournaments anymore, right?
I think he still could.
Darn it. I don't want to have to worry about him. He's scary. He's a scary human. But continue. That's just the coach in me. Sorry.
Yeah. So he's a scary human, but pretty neat. I mean, pretty neat to see. Just quite, guys aren't just staying in state, which isn't a bad thing by any means. But it's also nice to see our guys, expand that. There is more to life than just Indiana schools, and pretty neat to we already have like Cale McCormick at Army, and
Gunner's going too.
What?
Oh yeah, Laughlin's going there, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's Ben Harvey, right? Because Brian just graduated. Am I right there?
Yeah.
I don't know about the Harveys. I'm a bad person.
Ben Harvey is there right now, I believe.
And they got Gunner too, right?
Yeah. So there'll be 4 Indiana guys on their roster, which is cool. And I think
And they're going to join the Army, which makes them a million times braver and tougher than me.
yes. Yeah, Ben Harvey. That's the one. I think Brian Harvey is maybe a volunteer assistant or something of that nature. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's somewhere hanging around there. He's not on the list, but I thought I saw where he was doing something, maybe like club coach or something of that nature. So I'm sure he's gonna hang around and beat up on his younger brother because they're finally the same size. You done being loud? You there, Nick?
Uh, someone might have came in my house.
Someone came in your house. Hopefully, you locked the door.
They might have.
I'll get the mute button ready. So,
I thought it was haunted. Didn't you have a haunted house?
I mean, it was built in the 30s. It's very possible I could get murdered by a ghost here, but
if you guys didn't know, I guess another off-season acquisition was Nick bought his first house.
I did. I bought my first house. You're live now in the IndianaMat Central headquarters.
You see his belt back.
Those are my wrestling championships.
What federations?
The World Wrestling.
The World Wrestling of Web or what?
The World Wrestling Federation.
Oh, nice. Who do you defeat?
Billy the Kid. Man,
The real
Billy
question is, who hasn't he defeated?
Yeah, Billy Kidman with the 7-year itch. I got him. Part of the flock.
Any truth to the rumor that Mr. Slick Rick Clark is supposed to be having one of those belts?
We didn't the belt. Okay, so the belt was not put on the line. Snyder just said me and Ricky had to wrestle with no shirts on.
Oh goodness!
And me and Slick Rick, again, as someone who I think is not getting a lot of love in the rankings, me and Slick Rick went the distance into overtime, and Rick caught me. I slipped on a front headlock and got under him. You don't want to get under 300 pounds of Slick Ricky Clark. For many reasons. The smell is like third on that list, but it's in there. It's ugh.
Wow! So, oh goodness!
There might be video of that match, but I don't know where it's at.
There's already done dinner. Anyway, let's talk about rankings. I guess we'll start releasing them this week. I gotta add in all the new people, the new freshmen and stuff, and get some grades on some guys that I'm not 100% certain on.
Does that mean we're gonna fix them then?
No.
Oh, okay.
First update.
They fixed
Right,
it.
about after this weekend, I'm going to assume, Mike, maybe some fixes.
Yeah, a couple guys moving on.
Yeah, I mean, start getting weights. First official competition is today. I doubt anyone's wrestling today, but first official competition is today. A lot of tournaments going on this weekend. Capital City Classic, I know, is always a pretty solid one to start the season. Is that Zions? You guys aren't now that Zionsville one you guys are at. Is it till next weekend? Is it, Nick?
We're not at the Zionsville tournament anymore.
Oh, was that?
No, it used to be. No, it was like 3 or 4 weekends in.
Okay, I was thinking that was early.
No, we used to go to Edgewood. It used to be our first tournament, and that was, I think, next weekend.
Okay. So there's some, not a lot on the schedule. John Hurley.
Yeah.
Let's see what teams that usually has a lot of different teams there. And the Wawa C November duels. Oh, wait. Maybe not. That's next weekend.
There's times I really feel like I should do a lot better job of preparing for these things.
Yeah. You got Hamilton Southeastern. You'll have Eastern. That's where, and then Monrovia will be there. I think they probably will have a skeleton crew because I think they're still at semi-state in football from what I can remember.
The Brownsburg JV Invitational will be going on this weekend.
Yes.
A lot of barn burners at that tournament.
I don't know what Dustin's texting me. He's complaining about something. He said Dustin's not on this because he's silently protesting the Evansville semi-state something. So,
hey, Kaepernick, chill out.
So he will. It's rare that he's gonna silently protest. He's silent, so it's a pretty big protest.
He's a pretty big person, so it makes sense.
He's pretty large.
Yeah. So, Mike, I'm sure you don't even have the magazine on you, do you?
I have it on my iBooks. I have it. I'll look. If I'm looking off the page, that's what I'm looking at. I can put a spreadsheet, but this is easier.
Yeah.
So, are we starting team or individual?
Let's go to individual. Kind of just run down some of the names. I know one of the big ones I want to. Well, first, let's talk about who's not in the rankings. Nick Lee.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
You'll take that? Okay, go ahead. Talk.
Yeah, he's not in the rankings. That's really good because if we have to wrestle Evansville and he's in that lineup, we're in trouble. No, I don't know. Mike, go ahead.
I think that obviously he made a choice to move to Pennsylvania and compete, early. I mean that's a choice that he had to make. I think that there's a thread going on the message board, and I agree and I disagree. I mean, you only have so much high school wrestling you can do, and then you're done. But to his point, he's probably tech fall better than almost everyone that he would wrestle, and that's no disrespect to anyone. I mean, he's wrestled 3 years and he's only had two or three matches not end in a major decision or better his way. So, I mean, he wants the competition. He has bigger dreams, bigger aspirations.
I mean, to be fair to Bill Farrell, the kids he beat weren't even good. It wasn't like he beat old grown men and made one look. I hope he doesn't watch this thing because I'm going to say he made that one guy look stupid. It was, I felt bad for him.
He beat Dylan Waters, 2-time All-American.
Yeah.
He was number 1 seed at least once at the NCAAs, and it was impressive. I didn't get to watch it live because I have work and was in meetings, and I started perusing Twitter. I'm like, oh, whoa! Oh, I saw the draw. I'm like, yeah, that's not obviously with that tournament, no matter where you slot someone, whether you're good or bad, they're all going to be tough matches. But I saw that, I'm like, ooh, that's not exactly where he wanted to be.
Yeah, it looked like in the pigtails. Yeah, it looked like in the pigtails of that tournament. Like that was like your one chance for a quote easy match was in that first round, and easy match was like, oh, that guy only went to the NCAAs like twice and didn't even place. And that was like your easy draw. And then you're like, oh, that kid only won 1 national title. He must be bad.
Yeah, Alan Waters is legit. Like if you watch that Iowa Missouri duel, when he like jumps up, he starts doing the bird. Like
yeah.
Like if you Google Alan Waters, he is like a legit guy, and he just got manhandled by a kid that would be going into his senior year.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things. I agree with Mike. It's one that I was never even close to that level. He'd probably beat me when he was like in first grade, but you don't know. I mean, even in the country, in the whole state, who's he going to challenge, or who's going to challenge him? I mean, you saw that he destroyed Sasso at who's number 1. I mean, he didn't quite major, but he could have if he really felt like it, I think, because that was pretty impressive. So that kind of stuff, I mean, he's to that level where, it's probably better for him to be working out with Soriano, Megaludis, Zane Rutherford, all those guys at Penn State every day, and, go to a few competitions here and there. I don't know if you'll see him at, I don't know the whole rule type thing. I don't know exactly what the whole details, but he might end up at, Ironman or something. I don't know if he'll be eligible, but it wouldn't surprise me if, you see him on that list to go to Ironman, Beast of the East, tournaments like that, like the Reno Tournament of Champions, things, some of those bigger in-season events that Indiana kids usually can't go to. Well, they can't go to, not usually. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if all of a sudden we're seeing, oh, there's Nick Lee again, because he wants to see that kind of competition. And those are about the only things that are going to test him. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talk about on the side a lot. And I think that's one of the cooler things about the site is that you can go and express any opinion you want. And, some people hide behind their names, which is fine too. But he's taken a different route than a lot of kids are going to take. Paul Conroy has taken a different route. Like you don't need to be the multiple time state champ to get the Division I scholarship when you're as good as these guys are. Like Nick Lee's not even in question, probably the best one-timer in the history of the state.
Yeah. Not many one-timers are ranked 1 or 2 in the country right now in their senior year.
And he lost to 2 buzzsaws. It wasn't like, like Stefan was a buzzsaw. Chad Red, obviously, those are 2 guys that are going to go down as 2 of the better kids in the history of the state also.
Yep.
Just be thankful that we got to watch these matches.
Yeah, I mean, the Red and Lee match, like I said in the magazine, they put on a show for the fans. They could have avoided each other. And a lot of times better kids kind of, there's some underground, handshaking going on, say, hey, I'll go up, you stay there, kind of stuff sometimes. And rarely do we have that. I mean, I know LeCount and Forte LeCount dropped, and right into Forte's, and they were good friends and stuff. They just LeCount, I think, dropped more for team purposes, but that kind of stuff we don't see that very much in our state. There's increasing depth, but there's not that much that some of our elite guys are going to get pushed. And the Red Lee match was, that'll go down in history. We'll be talking about that 20 years from now. Telling the grandkids about it. Nick, maybe the grandkiddies, but
well, come on. I Bob Barkered her. She's been taken care of. But when we get kids out, like 8th graders, 7th graders, and we have kids we hear that have some talent, like, I don't know if I want to wrestle. We tell them that you need to go see the state finals at least once. And we usually set up a big trip there. But the thing I've been doing recently is said, go look up Chad Red versus Nick Lee. If you can look at that match, watch that video, and not be like, I'd like to do that, then maybe this isn't the sport for you. Because that feeling there was so electric. I mean, it was disappointing for me to not be a part of like that atmosphere. I was in the back getting ready with Brayton, but I can tell you I was sitting next to Joe the whole time, and Joe has to go out and wrestle in a little bit, and Joe's freaking out back there. His coach is like, you got to go warm up. And he's like, I can't just – that kind of environment will not happen for a very long time, I think. I think even if we get a Joe Lee, Brayton Lee matchup this year, I don't think it'll have the same kind of fireworks that did. Now, it'll be close, but I just don't think the kind of hype in that environment will ever be matched again in the near future.
Nah, it's a two top two or three guys in the country. I mean, yeah, it has a lot of hype, and it was kind of building for a while. Actually, it was kind of a semi-surprise, and some people kind of had some hints, but we weren't sure that it would happen. So it took this nice 4 weeks of hype,
Yeah. And it all worked out, because what made it scary was being that they're in different semi-states. It was really scary that could have been a semifinal match, which would have done a disservice to everyone in that gym, that arena.
I mean, then that kind of happened to Nick as a freshman, because I think, and nothing to take away from Davis from Penn, but that Stefan Nick Lee match had a lot of hype built into it too, which would have been really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, okay.
Let's get to rankings.
One of the 106 is going to be interesting. Lots of freshmen, lots of fresh faces. The biggest, I guess, is Jacob Moran at Portage now. He was at Crown Point, and I believe they haven't got the full lowdown from the IHSA about whether him and his brother are eligible. Is that correct, Mike?
That's what I'm hearing. But you get all this stuff and you talk to all these people. That's one of the dumbest things. Like, I understand, like, you feel like your school's being slighted, but like, you're gonna take a season away from a kid. I think that's dumb. And I don't care about where you live or whatever. That's dumb to me. I think that if they take the season away from these two kids, I think that's ridiculous. I don't like that. That's something. If they want to go wrestle for whoever they want to wrestle with, make your program better. Make them want to stay there. I don't see a lot of kids running out of Brownsburg right now.
Yeah, nah.
Sorry, Joe. But yeah, Mike, you're right. As someone, if you've read the magazine, you can see that we are not ranked first this year, or second for that matter. We'll get there. But we're not ranked first. Portage is, and the Morans that's a big help for them. And it's scary. But I'll tell you right now, I don't want to see their season get taken away from. It's the dumbest thing I could see, and I hope they get their eligibility. And I think I was talking to Sean McMurray's brother Thaddeus on Facebook the other day, and I just kind of said, "Hey man, hope you guys make it to December all healthy." I go, I respect Leroy. I'm terrified of Leroy, but I respect him more than anything. I'll respect him even more when he gives me Brock Lesnar's cell phone number, but I don't want, like, I'd prefer if we're going to be the best in the state, if those three are going to be the best in the state, I want it to come down to who's the best wrestlers, who came to wrestle that day. I don't want it to be a win on either side based on some sort of, well, they had so-and-so, but they weren't eligible. Mm-hmm. I think that's not a way anyone wants to win a thing. They want to take it. I want to see those guys when they're their healthiest, they're at their best, and when we're at our best, because I think that's what's best for the state, and that's what's going to help push the team aspect further, and like I said, hopefully get at some point an IHSA sanction out of it. But
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, Jacob was the clear one. He won IndianaMat preseason open, which, obviously, if you're there, you get to listen to live broadcast. We broadcast it live. He's put the work in. He's really good. He's only returning medalist. A lot of tough freshmen. A lot of guys. Drake Campbell from Brownsburg had a really good tournament there. I was really impressed with him. And then you got a couple seniors in there, so it's just a really good mix. 106 is always a real tough one to rank because you're going off of middle school stuff. You're going off of some summer results, and you're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, you have some like schoolboy, like I want to say, is it Campbell? Was he a schoolboy last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he? I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to say because I was looking through because when I was doing the magazine write-ups, I was looking up some of their results and stuff, and you have some of the guys that were cadets, so it's a little bit easier to kind of see how they would transition to high school. So they'll be wrestling some freshmen, and then you have some that were schoolboys, which they should be.
I mean,
yeah, that kind of stuff. It's always 106 is always Mike always pulls his hair out more doing 106 probably than any other weight.
From what I can see, the only one I agree. I think Jacob's a clear one there. I could see 2 through 6 or 7. I could see that being rearranged in any order. I think Drake actually had a win over Black this offseason. It was probably, I think it was at one of those. It was one of like an off-season tournament. So I mean, weight could have been an issue. There's a whole bunch of things there. I don't think it's fair to take it against Andrew, and he had a great season last year. But I mean, I know Drake's had some battles with Logan Bailey. I could see Logan Bailey beating him too. It's a scary thing at this weight class because all these kids have been wrestling, especially nowadays. All these kids have been wrestling since they were like 5 or 6, wrestling the same people, and any given day they can pull out a win. So it's always the toughest one to rank. And I mean, we saw it the last few years. It doesn't matter who you put top 1. I bet it's different by the end of the year.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely. Moving on to 113, the one, I guess he's in the rankings, but I think we moved him up to a little bit higher weight. Was probably one of my favorite names is Manzona Bryant of Culver Academies. He's listed in the rankings, but we were a couple pounds off, I think, Mike.
I mean, give or take 20 pounds.
Yeah, it's
we can come back.
Little background on him. He comes out of Ohio. Kind of got some word this summer at Jordan camp that there's this guy coming to Culver that's pretty good. So I'm like, okay, you hear things like that and you're like, okay, what do you mean? So I finally got the name and then did a little typing in this Google thing, kind of new fad.
The Google.
Yeah, and he's a 2-time middle school or junior high, as they call it in Ohio, state champ, and 1-time runner-up. So you wrestled in it 3 years, that's the only. I'm pretty certain you can't do it as a 5th grader there. And he was a runner-up and 2-time champ. That's pretty legit. That's instant impact type guy they're talking about in Ohio is going to be contending for a state title. So he's probably up to about 132 now. He wrestled at preseason nationals. I think he got 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, he had a good showing.
Yeah. So he's one. Watch out if you guys were wrestling. If you're wrestling Culver Academies,
they wrestle this weekend, right? CMA early duels.
Yeah. So if you're in the area, go check him out. I want to see him wrestle. With a name like Manzona, you better be pretty good.
To put it in perspective for some people out there who don't understand Ohio stuff, I think we can all agree that Ohio is better than us as a wrestling state. I think everyone can agree to that.
Wrong.
I think they've put out a lot more talent than we have in the last while. But what that junior high state championship means is, so you have to think Ohio is a 3-class state. They don't class their junior high. So Ohio's how much? You probably know, Joe. Like how? Like what? 2 or 3 times our size?
They have like 600-ish schools with wrestling. I'd say they're about
twice our size. Yeah. So they're about twice our size of that, and that's all one class. So that's out of 600 schools. They do their middle school is, I think, sanctioned by the OHSA, I think there. So they have like the whole state association behind it. And that kid won it twice over 600. That's impressive. That is an impressive feat. I mean, winning middle school state in Indiana is a big deal. Like if you win it 3 or 4 times, like you're going to be a stud in Indiana. It's completely different in Ohio. It means so much more, I think, in that level of competition.
Yes, exactly. Definitely, that's what I was just going to say. Is it's a single class, which is huge, because their state tournament is not single class. So, you win that, you're pretty legit. Like I said, I sent a message to Josh Lowe, Nick's
my buddy,
and asked him, how good is Manzona? And he's like, he's top 5, top 4 in the state. Without question. He's like, unless it's just an absolutely loaded weight. Now I don't know what. We're not down to 132 yet. Is probably where you're gonna slide him in, but I mean it's a good weight. But he should probably fit in fairly high there. After the season or during the season. So
yeah, Josh Lowe sent us a list of all Americans that he had beat this year. So just to kind of give you these are guys that he beat that placed at Fargo. So so he's really good.
Yeah, so 113, Asa Garcia, state champ last year. Pretty good. Looks like pretty good weight, top to bottom. Braden Lytle from Prairie Meridian, highly ranked freshman. He got 3rd or 4th at the IPO.
Third.
So 3rd on the magazine.
Yeah. So pretty good freshman. That's going to be a fun weight class. I mean, you look at some of the guys, I think we have, I guess that's not the weight that we have some state qualifiers that are off the list, but sounds like JC Herring is going to be back down to 106, so he'll probably get adjusted. A senior at 106 is going to be big. Just pretty good, solid weight class. Any comments there, Mike? Any quick comments?
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked when they said that Turner is going back to 13 because I thought he was huge at 13 when he was at Cathedral, and then he came back last year at 13, and now he's coming back at 13 again. That's a grown man. Like, I mean, not height ways, but he's going to have grown man strength. But Littell was awesome. Littell was probably the most impressive freshman I saw at IndianaMat. He beat a lot of state qualifiers. He beat Jose Diaz there. He beat, he beat a couple of really good kids. He beat the kid from Kentucky that was pretty good. So Corey Cavanaugh obviously got a medal. So you got a couple medalists in here. You got, Watts, Curtis, Turner, Cavanaugh. Ace is the champ. Jobin Wright was a semi-state champ. I like this weight. I think it's really a tough weight. And you got some seniors. I think like a Wyatt Miller who's a junior and Seth Horty, kind of round that out. And then I think that was a weight that kind of – there were some guys right on the border that were very rankable kids that were like, they've been in the rankings and you're kind of on the fence about getting them in there. And even right after I did the rankings, the Brownsburg kid, Evan Lawhead, had a really good tournament. I think he beat Justice Cash there. He beat a couple other kids. So, I mean, he was right on the mix too.
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to suck up to Nick now.
No, he should after the way he's done some of these rankings. Just kidding. I mean, I've gotten to see Hunter Watts this offseason. That's a kid who I think that's a great program to talk about real quick is the Jimtown program. They're ones who, they're not a big school. You don't hear a lot about them, but they're always, whenever I go back home, they're always doing practice. They're always working to get better. Their big goals are always to be the team state champs. They're doing things the right way. I could see a kid like Hunter Watts surprising some kids with some big wins this year just from the amount of work they put in. I could see a lot of those Jimtown kids really surprising some people. And then I think another thing I noticed is, we didn't talk about the other freshman on the list here is Alec Videa from Rock Holly. He's been an impressive little guy. I could see him coming in and sneaking in with a medal. I know we have him ranked 9th here, but I could see him walk away with a medal at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely pretty tough. I know he had some pretty good wins this offseason. I think he wrestled as a cadet, and I can't tell you who he beat offhand, but he had some good wins.
I know him and Borman went back and forth every now and then.
Yes.
I think him and Borman had some back and forth wins.
Yeah.
So that's his voice still believed.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Pretty good weight there. 120. This is going to be an interesting weight. You have Colton Cummings, who is out with an injury for at least till mid-December, I want to say, from what I've heard ish. So if you guys don't see him in the lineups early, don't worry, he's coming back. Suffered it during the off season, I guess. If you want to say it's a good time to have an injury, off season is good. But he was a cover boy for our magazine, so I think he'll be back. I know he's chomping at the bit, according to Mama. So he's driving her nuts. So I think he's ready. He's a little feisty at home, so I'm sure he's ready to hit the mats and beat up on some people. Any other comments? This is a weight class where you're looking at Hayden Lowry from Shenandoah, who was a state qualifier, I believe, last year.
Yep. Trey McCartney was a state qualifier. Bryson Denny.
Lowry's sitting on the outside here. Just, I'm looking at.
There was a couple guys that kind of Colton being out. I put Colton at 120. I wouldn't be shocked if he was 126 when the season comes. I mean, when you're not, I don't know if they're really sure. I guess you got to play that one by ear. But I think if we'll touch at 126, but we're gonna have another, cover guy state championship possibility there.
Yeah.
But obviously Colton's the real deal. Like, he got 2 titles. He's going for 3. He's going for a 4th. Al Smith, hopefully he can make it back. Obviously, there's only been a handful of kids that's been able to do that. Ty Mills, state runner-up. Mejia, Tyler Triana. They I got a little bit from Hobart. I guess he had beat him at Scholastics. Joe didn't correct me on that. I could have been back and looked. But that'll work itself out too. Obviously, they're going to see each other at Al Smith. Slivka was a semifinalist. Caden Rooks was not a state finalist. He's a top 10 guy. We had him in the mix to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower. He lost in the ticket round to the state champ. Like, he's really good.
Yeah, he has one loss on his career. That's one Mike and I kind of – it's like, man, where do we put Rooks? I go, he doesn't have a state medal. Do you put him over guys with, like, Fair and Demeen who have state medals? Or do you drop him lower? That's one of those ones that I think I know Mike probably beat himself up personally, but I was like, man, I go, where does he slot in? Guys like that, it's kind of hard. That's why we have rankings. You'll see Rooks will be at Al Smith. Columbus East wrestle a good schedule. They'll be at Team State. So he'll get slotted a little bit better after, season starts rolling around a little bit.
Tanner Demeen makes the move to the Kingsman of Penn High School. He moves to God's country, Mishawaka, Indiana.
Yeah. Yep. And that, I'm interested to see how big Tanner is, because that's he's been 6, that's a good jump, and they got a good 13. That gives him a really good, 13-20 right there. That's part of the thing. You're gonna go wrestle for a strong program, and that's no disrespect to what they were doing before, but now you got one of the best practice partners in the state every day to help you raise your game.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Nick.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
And then the other guy with the other 2 guys with no state experience in at 20, Eli Dickens. I think he's a really tough freshman coming in for Mater Dei, and Alex Batista was a ticket rounder as a freshman, had an ACL last year. He's really good. He's really slick on his feet. I think he's a really tough wrestler.
Yeah, should be a pretty interesting weight. Whether Cummings goes up or not, that's one. If Cummings goes up, you can really put a strong argument to say guys like Baxter, Anakin, Demeen, Fair, Rooks, all those guys have legitimate shots at winning state. You throw all those guys, it'll be a fun weight class to watch coming this year. Moving up, 126, you have Jeremiah Wrights, number 1. Some Blake Milky.
It's pronounced Milky.
Milky. The Milky Man.
Yeah.
You bring the milk. The Graham Rooks, just 3 studs. Mulkey.
Come on, keep on there. There's more.
No, everyone else is terrible after that.
Alec White just committed to Purdue, so that's a pretty big thing. Ethan Smiley's he placed 8th last year, so you got some. Some pretty good kids there. And then
here's the scary thing, real quick, about 2 through 5 is I would take occasional trips to the old Red Cobra room this off season and that was a regular group of 4. It would be Blake, Graham, Alec, and Ethan. I think Ethan was there. I may be wrong about Ethan, but I for sure know Blake, Graham, and Alec were there beating on each other. So, they say iron sharpens iron. I don't know how those 3 don't just continue to improve. It's just amazing to see those 3 go at it day in, day out there. But there's a reason they're that high, and it's because those were the training partners in that room, and it was intense.
Yep, and even got towards the end, you had some Matt Lee. Anyone know of him? Does he have any relation to anyone good?
No, I don't think Brayton has any brothers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's from Mr. Mater Day. Yeah, there it is.
Matter Di.
Yeah, so my guess is that's probably a little bit low ranking, but I mean, it's obviously he's a freshman coming into a little bit more of a solid weight class, and obviously we'll see where he's at come start of the season. Definitely one that I could see. Even someone like Noah Hunt, I noticed he qualified for state but got injured. He's one that's he's had like 2 or 3 losses only over the past 2 years.
I didn't know he was a judo standout.
Yeah, so should be a pretty good weight. I gotta give a shout out to Mulkey. He came out of nowhere, kind of under the radar, I guess. Beating up on Nick paid off, and only had 1 loss last year to Wrights in the semifinals, and had a good off season. He did pretty good at Scholastic Duels. Won a few matches at the Al Smith or the Super 32. Also won an IPO title. So
Big Rooks 4-1.
Yep. So him and Rooks have wrestled for the 70,000th time.
Oh my! I think we were at the Super 32, and I looked at Graham. I go, if you and Blake have to wrestle again, I'm leaving.
Nice. So, any comments there, Mike? Quicker comment?
I think you touched on it pretty good. Couple state qualifiers, Sonny Neer, John Moran in there. Trevor Rago was a overtime loser in the ticket round. So,
yeah,
no,
pretty good.
Ian Dombrowski, obviously. I think it says state qualifier in the book. Came up a little short of the semi-state. I think on the regional page it said he's a state qualifier, but I think he lost to Jeremiah in the ticket round.
Oops. Didn't he qualify the year before, though?
Tristan, his older brother.
Too many Dombrowskis. It's
You're bad at your job, Joe.
Yeah, I know. I'll fire myself.
Did you get that one? I was gonna blame Chad after the show was over.
No, I did most of it because Chad had some issues. He didn't get her. He usually does a lot of the regionals at around the in the summer, and he got too busy with the new football coach and stuff. But even look at that weight class. You have Noah Franklin, Alex Struder, Anthony Moser, who are all qualifiers. They're sitting on the outside, who are all very good. I think I'm pretty certain all of them lost in the ticket round last year. I know Struder and Moser did. I'm going to assume Franklin was also. But some guys that are pretty tough. That's going to be a fun weight. 132, Braden Bailey, going to Northern Illinois. Dawson Combast, IPO runner-up, Michael De La Pena. Mike, I'll let you
Combast won the IPO.
Yeah. And just to kind of touch base on that, they said De La Pena might be at 26 also, so we could have a semi-state of Colton Cummings, Jeremiah, and Michael De La Pena, which would be, pretty tough. Bailey, obviously, did anyone do more for their college stock this offseason than Bailey? Like, he just was killing it. Killed that grappler, killed that Super 32.
Yeah, even though he didn't wrestle IPO, I'm still mad at him.
He was on, wasn't he like on
that actually hurt his college stock actually.
Yeah. I think he was on a visit somewhere. I'm pretty certain I sent him a message and he's like, no, I gotta go. I want to say he was at IU maybe or somewhere, that nature.
That visit was worth it apparently.
He supports the site.
Yeah, so pretty good. I mean, other than that, pretty good weight class. You got Jack Tolan, who's going to Northwestern, Kyle Weeks, who
he had a medal.
Yeah, he had a medal and then ran into he had a rematch for 5th place on the first round state. Christian Hunt, he'll probably be filled. You know, he was a little undersized last year at 120. I think he'll fill in. He has a pretty good frame. Then you got Davy Clayton from Perry. So, and
I think Colton Cummings has single-digit losses, and one of them is a Davy Clayton.
Yeah, and Clayton's one that's dangerous.
He can poppy you from anywhere.
Yes.
That means headlock, by the way, if you didn't know.
And and we got Miguel Prado at 14. I have Miguel Prado at 14. He was also, before he tore his knee up last year, he lost at the Harvest Classic to Jeremiah in overtime. So, I mean, that kind of just shows the depth of that weight. Levi Miller, state qualifier.
Yeah.
Mickey Dubs. Hey, guys, Brayton Lee's here.
What's
going on?
Cameo.
Mickey Dubs, yes.
Oh, great. And you got to tell us where you're going to college here?
Why can't I hear Joe?
Oh, because they're here. Hold on a sec.
I think Brayton's coming to announce his college decision. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Brayton's coming to announce his college decision.
No, that's
Finley. He's choosing Finley.
You choose Finley?
Oh, Finley, yeah.
So,
Who else did you bring in there?
This is Seymour.
Oh, hey.
and Bella.
Seymour coming.
Oh,
Wow.
and my dog. She's a great dog. Look at her. Beautiful.
Wow, we got all sorts of guests now.
Yep,
All right, Mickey Dubs, you keep it real.
I will be, Lee. Thanks, man. Hey,
Joe,
I appreciate it.
2 weeks away. He can break down 45 for us.
Yeah, what's up with 45?
Well, you guys aren't at 45, though.
We're at 38.
We'll jump. We'll skip over.
What's up? 45. That guy number 1 sucks.
All
How
right.
many times can you take Nick down in a practice?
Well, I kind of have to take it a little easier because if I beat him up too bad, he just stops wrestling.
That's true. I do that. That's true. Those are facts.
So, like,
What did Derek say? Like, what's better, a state title or a national title?
No. First off, Derek is a 2-time Fargo All-American. Brayton, how many times have you All-American at Fargo?
see, I've only went to Fargo once.
Okay, so you're a 1-time Fargo All-American. As far as I know, the math checks out that he is 2 times better than you because he has 2 of them.
I've also only wrestled once.
Now you're just making excuses. We're gonna put that on the best excuses for him.
I'm definitely going back this year to capture 2 more titles, Greco and freestyle.
All right. Hey, I know a guy who can coach you in the Greco title. It's not me.
All right, I know who it is. I just didn't think that was good. Well, this is your guys' job. You guys are really good at this.
Brayton doesn't like to talk about people.
Yeah, I mean,
He respects all of his competitors.
we honestly got some tough weight. We got Gasper's tough, Coach Vega over there. You got my man Jason.
You got Joe Larney.
My man Clayton. My man Nathan, tough, good cornerback. We got my man Brooks. Brooks is tough. Dante, all good competitors. What it comes down to.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk to Isaac McCormick on this thing.
You know what? You guys keep it real, all right?
Hold on, Brayton. Stay there. I got a question for you.
What's up,
I
Isaac?
saw you were visiting Virginia Tech this year. Did you just leave? Oh, no.
Yeah, he's talking to McCormick. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, well. I was just going to say he was at Virginia Tech and got to see a pretty cool duel. But
He did. Yeah, those were. I don't know if you saw the pictures from it, but it was really cool.
yeah.
They did it in like a auditorium.
Yeah, it's like an auditorium. It's kind of neat. Check out like Virginia Tech's webpage, their Twitter and stuff is pretty neat. Pretty cool to see. And I know I saw some pictures, and obviously you can't comment on that because he left. So anyway,
Back to 38.
back to 38. Brendan Black, Chris Rump, Manzona, Mello, Wrestler. Pretty good weight class there. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the Hobart coaches. They said Black isn't signed anywhere yet, which is pretty shocking. So I'll be interested to see where he ends up college-wise. Off top, I mean, Black obviously has been there. This is a rematch of the state semifinals, possibly. Chris Rump, man, like just the progression he made even through the year. He won IndianaMat this year, or was he runner up? He won, right?
He won, yeah.
Yeah. That was a guy that just kind of broke out of the scene. And I think Portage has been doing a really good job of just finding these guys and just, really pushing them along. And these guys are just kind of, obviously not to them, but to us, we're like, oh, man, where'd this guy come from? A Bam Lawrence from before, Chris Rumpf now. So it's pretty interesting. This is another tough weight, man. You got a lot of really good guys. Cody Crairy's in there. He's been the tick around twice. Another Brownsburg guy. Another Perry Meridian guy. When it gets really tough, I just pull from the best teams, I feel like, and just say, hey, these guys should be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Fun fact, Drew Kreitzer's real name is Colin Drew Kreitzer. So if you see him, be like, hey, what's up, Colin?
Kind of like Ty Mills is Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler Mills. He loves that.
Yeah, pretty good weight. You know, you look at some of those guys, and it's Black's pretty tough. I mean, I don't. I mean, like you said, he's not signed anywhere, and he's one I've kind of mentioned to a couple of people. I go, he can scramble. He's kind of. I mean, he's not afraid to, let it fly. He's fun to watch. I know that, having him on the Gorillas 2 years in a row. He's not going to wrestle a match 1-0. That's not going to be.
Do you know if he's looking to go big time D1 or is he just looking to go anywhere?
Some of the teams that they said were D1 teams, but I'm not too sure overall.
Because he's the kind of kid I could see. I mean, he could go D1 and be just fine, but he's the kind of kid I could see going to a D2 and being a couple-time national champ or at least a high placer.
Yeah,
a few times.
Great pickup for places I don't know what the grades are, so that sometimes.
I asked that also. Weirdly, that was a question that I asked.
He seems like a really smart kid. So
yeah, they said he's like being better.
Yeah, that usually will get you into most schools. Grades. If you guys don't hear this, kids don't hear this enough, grades are very important.
And I'll tell you guys what I tell my high school kids: high school is not hard. Go to class, do your homework. It's really easy to get good grades.
Exactly. So, anyway, other thing. Any other comments on that weight?
This is the other spot where Penn had picked a guy up. They picked up Preston Risner from Reisner. Close.
Sorry, that's a kind of a Finley inside joke, but
that's another nice pickup from him as a semi-state kid. He's gonna be over there, and then they have LePant, the place for Mishawaka. He's a freshman, so we'll see how that goes.
He's a scare. I don't know if he's the next I don't think it's fair to say he's the next Tommy Forte. I don't know if he's that good, but he's good enough to be up in that conversation. He'll be their next, I think, 2 or 3 time placer.
The next Nick Weisjohn.
No, because I only placed twice, and I lost unless he loses in the semis to the same kid 2 years in a row.
I was just giving you a plug. Come on.
Well,
no, he is tough. I got to see him in IndianaMat. He wrestled really well.
Yeah, definitely. So should be some a good weight. Another one, 145. We kind of touch on a little bit. Some Brayton feller. Casper McIntosh could be a rematch of the IPO championship.
finals.
Jason Crary, you can't sleep on him. I know he kind of got upset last year, this Friday night, but he's tough. I mean, he's the one that can go with anyone. He has a pretty good motor. Him and Brayton might just look like they're drilling probably, because I know they both have really, really, really good motors, and obviously Casper does too. So those are going to be high-paced matches. I can tell you that much. Going down, I'll let Nick or Mike finish.
I mean, you got Nathan Conley, who is he's a stud for them. He's one of the freshmen last year that we looked at, and we always talk about the Avon Young Guns. And I know Asa came away with the title, but I remember being really impressed with Nathan Conley to the point where he's like, he's gonna suck for the next 4 years coaching against him. It's gonna be miserable. Dante Colza, who I always call Brendan Black. It'd be nice to see him get a medal. He gets really mad when I call him Brendan Black, but it is what it is.
They said Remo's not wrestling, so we'll pull him out. Malik Hoover, that's a guy from Maryville that I was really impressed with. He lost to Crary a couple times. He lost, I think, a tick around. But that's one of those guys that I feel like David could really push up, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was getting a medal. So that's kind of a guy that he's 10, but I think ability-wise, he could be in that conversation for a medal.
You mean Maldonado's going to take some kid and make him really good? That's weird. That never happens.
And you even got like Nate Weimer sitting in there at 14 right now as a placer.
Why are we talking about Joel Arney?
Yeah, I mean, Joel wrestles great.
Joel actually, how did Joe do a Super 32? I'll be honest. I did not give him a good chance there. And he won like what, 3 or 4 matches?
He went 2-2. He lost to who was the guy from New York? Oh crap, can't think of his name. He lost to the guy from New York that was ranked 10th at the time.
Not Yanni D.
He lost to him. It was like 5-1, but it was like 3-1 going in the second
That's
period.
actually his name is not Yanni D.
No, it was not Yanni. It was the guy that Yanni beat for 2 of his titles, and Yanni was in the corner coaching the kid.
Oh, seems about right.
I did a double take. I'm like, oh, that's the guy that he beat for 2 of his state titles.
Did you feel like Yanni outcoached you, or did you coach Joel up to that level?
I coached him up to the level. I think we got a little bit of a.
I heard Arnie walked over there and pushed him and said, "I want you."
Ooh.
Yeah, he wrestled him tough. I mean, he almost got in the legs early, but I mean, the guy was very good, and Joel battled with him, which is what he can wrestle at that level. I'm pretty certain. He took me down once. I'll admit it. I let him take me down this springs or this fall. So he's retired from ever wrestling me again, I think. So
I know it's tough for you guys to come on here and kind of discuss your guys to push him up, but Joel is really tough, and he's had a lot of tough matches, and he's been in a lot of good matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he had a good. I brag a little bit. He had a good Disney duels. He wrestled real well. He lost 2 matches. One he was outgunned, and the other he got just absolutely a horrible call, fleeing the mat when he just sprawled, basically.
Well, that's that Joe Caprino coaching coming in for you.
Yeah.
You can't get a fair shake at Disneyland.
No.
Just to kind of
Goofy was not a good ref, let me tell you.
To kind of finish up this weight class. I mean, you have to look here. You got a senior from Penn, Trace Manspeaker. That Penn room is just gonna produce better and better athletes. Don't be surprised to see him maybe sneak through and get a medal.
Yeah, I was trying to say before you guys interrupted me. No. Returning play, he placed 2 years ago. Last year, I think he had a little bit of an injury from what I've heard. If he's 100%, he's tough. I mean, he's one that's hard to score on. Wrestles smart wrestling. So he's one you can't really overlook there. He could easily come away with the medal, be in the semis. He's one of those guys that you can't, overlook. So moving on, 152.
Well, hold on, just because I'm going to switch it up a little bit when we get in there. I'm going to bring Mason Winter in also from Jay County. So that'll make that 4-win semi-state pretty interesting. I mean,
yes.
Then Remo, but Yorktown's pretty stacked in there. And then you got Joel. You'll have Weimer. You'll have Mason Winter. So that'll be a pretty good 4. Hopefully they don't run into each other.
Yeah, definitely. I think, let's see, where will they – you have Joel B out of Carroll. Weimer will be out of Goshen. And then Winter will be out of Jay County. So all 3 will be different. Who was the other one you were talking about?
Yorktown out of –
Yeah, Yorktown.
I'm sure.
I want to say maybe like Alex Barr or
Eric.
World medalist.
Yep.
World medalist Alara Boyd, who I gave her a shout out to her. She won a world bronze, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So going down to 152, Joe Lee, Kenny Kern, Hatch. Should be Hatch, got the raw end of a deal, 2-time placer and had 1 loss last year. He's tough as nails. Him and Kern might be like a 15-17 match.
We took Kyle to Disney with us, and after watching him, because I never really watched Kyle wrestle. After watching him wrestle, I don't understand how he lost. I don't know, like if one of his legs just stopped working or something. He's just so impressive to watch. Again, Joe Lee's got to be the favorite here. He has to be. Yeah. But looking at these top 3, 4, 5 guys, Austin Bethel has a win over Joe Lee. Yeah. I mean, I could in Joe. God, he might hurt me for saying this. Joe doesn't seem like he's as smooth as Nick. Nick seems like he's a lot safer on finishing stuff. Joe can get himself in issues, and it's kind of cost him a few matches. That could let a kid like Kenny Kern, Kyle Hatch, Clark. One of those kids could walk away with the state title this year, if that happens. Now, I don't think that's very likely. I just think it's much more possible than people probably think. I think all those kids are great wrestlers, and that I think that semifinal of that weight's going to be a pain in the butt.
Man, the top 7 in that weight those are exciting wrestlers. Like that's a weight don't walk away from with Joe Lee, Kenny Kern, both going to put points up. Kyle Hatch puts up points. Jacob Clark's, out there. Bethel, Cassius Breath. It's a guy I've liked for 2 years now from South Bend Riley. He puts up a ton of points.
Yeah, definitely should be a fun weight there. Moving on, 160. Brad Laughlin, like we said earlier, had a heck of a off season. Snuck into the rankings now, and kind of I don't think he's in the IndianaMat rankings, even though I tried making a point that he definitely should be there. I think he lost to the same guy at the Super 32, Hidley, whatever they call him, twice. So definitely legit. You have Gleason Mappis, Austin Bay, Noah Warren. Tell us a little bit about this Micah Johnson feller there, Nikolai.
Micah Johnson is a three-time placer from Wisconsin. He got first as a freshman, third as a sophomore, I believe, and second as a junior. That might be Swish. I'm not really sure. Micah won't be back until the end of the semester, but he can roll with the best of them. Anyone who saw him out at Disney knows he can go. He's a battler out there, and he can put points on the board, and he might throw you instead of knowing you, but he can also wrestle technically. He's there's not a lot of people in the room that can roll with him. When the kids in the room who are better than you are Nathan Walton and Brayton Lee, I mean, you're pretty good if they're the only two that are better than you. So he's got the pedigree to come in and wrestle now. He could come in and who knows, see, because I don't know how good Wisconsin is, but from what I've seen, I could see him winning this weight, but that just might be me being me. So
how does he do against you? That's the best judgment.
He didn't know me, so he threw me.
So he beat you worse than Slick Rick?
Yes.
Okay.
He also has a younger brother who's not bad. I don't know if he'll crack our lineup, but we'll see. A younger brother who's a state qualifier who's not bad, but that's irrelevant.
Me and Nick kind of went back and forth on this because he is out for right now. But we just kind of I asked. I went behind Nick's back and asked Zach Pearson, who's a coach in Wisconsin now, how good he is, and he said that he can be a medalist to a champ. And it was like one of those things. Do you put him in and maybe, what if he doesn't come back? You never know. You never know how, these are kids. We forget a lot of times that they're kids. But if he does, I don't want to have a state champ not in the book.
Yeah, let's be honest, Mike. You just want to make sure that you can be like, oh, the state champs are ranked preseason.
Yeah, at some point,
Yes.
No,
so,
but he kind of fits in that weight too. If he's out here throwing guys like Austin Baines, big points, Noah Warren's exciting.
Noah Warren's big, yeah. It's going to be impressive. But I mean, you move on down that list too. You have Jared Swank, I just kicked my printer.
Diego.
NC State commit, baby. Me and the bees. # bees in the trap. My boy.
Congratulations to Jared Swank.
Yeah, Jared Swank, good job.
yes.
Diego Lemley's tough. Carson Brewer coming back from an injury.
Carson Brewer, I don't even think he wrestled last year as a freshman at all, did he? Did he step on the mat at all?
I don't. Maybe like a JV thing early on. He was trying to get back and then got injured.
I watched him wrestle at the IPO. I believe he wrestled Clark, I think. And it was a 1-0 match. So he wrestled Jacob Clark to a 1-0 match. He's another scary kid. So, man, those Avon Young guns.
I got yelled at for that. So thanks for reminding me there, Blevins Jr. Blevins was not happy that somehow they didn't get separated. And I don't know exactly how they didn't, but they end up wrestling each other like second round, like round of 64 or 32, something of that nature.
And because you got Brownsburg on staff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember when I handed you that $20 bill and said, "Make this happen."
Yeah.
You guys would do that.
You just want to see who's possibly going to be varsity there at 52 and 60.
Yeah, it was very clear what I was doing. Come on.
But he had beat Oscar Cash there, and Oscar Cash is tough from Crown Point. So.
Yeah. Andrew Negangar, I probably just butchered your name. Sorry. He placed at the IPO. Kind of an under the radar type guy. I know. I'm pretty certain that his IPO boosted him up in the rankings a little bit, right, Mike?
Yeah. I think he's a stronger kid. He always has pretty good results, but East Central doesn't always wrestle the kids that are ranked. So I don't want to say they have a bad schedule, but they're not always getting like ranked results. So to see him against a lot of those guys really helped him get in there.
Yeah, definitely. So kids that are, IPO's a great tournament no matter what. If it helped him get ranked and get noticed, and I'm sure a couple colleges saw him too, because there were like about 15 colleges there watching. So definitely a good event to go to help your own stock, whether it's getting in the rankings or getting college acknowledgement.
If you're one of those kids that are sending me like messages, and it happens, I'm not gonna lie, like kids are like, why am I not ranked? That's a good tournament to be at, to see. Like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be walking around, like, especially if you're sending me stuff. I want to see the kids that are out there. I want to see these kids. And if you make it to the finals, like a Mason Miranda, who was out the entire year last year, 132, you don't know where to put him at. And then he's in the finals of a tournament with a lot of kids with medals. You're going to be very highly ranked.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great point. Guys that are out for whatever reasons, injuries and such, that come back, having a good tournament like that, even if you don't win it, even if you're not in the finals, if you win 4 or 5 matches, that's pretty impressive there. Just the level, most weight classes had 10 plus state qualifier level matches. I know, just looking at like a couple of my kids, I know you had one easy match and then you're right into state qualifier level kids. So you're not gonna, it's a meat grinder, especially early in the season. And plus, Mike, you don't get to see, the best kids. You're in Northwest Indiana.
We all know they're in the west side of Indianapolis.
Yeah. Yes. Not everyone gets to come together because of rules and stuff. So you don't get to see everyone. Everyone can come to the IPO tournament pretty much. So you can see kids from Evansville to Fort Wayne and everywhere in between. So
plus, you get to hang out with me and Nick. We're real friendly.
Yes. Nick friendly.
Not as much Joe. Joe's really grumpy when he's there. Don't really talk to him. But if you come find me and Nick, we'll have a great time.
Unless one of my kids wrestles really bad, then I'll probably be grumpy and talk about how bad they are. But
I have 0 kids wrestling. I'll never be grumpy there.
No. I'm usually really excited to do interviews in the gorilla cage.
Yes.
Give us feedback on how good that was, because I was pretty awesome at it.
It was good.
Yes. Yeah, well, it'll be better next year, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
170. Moving on up, Burke Van Horn, state runner-up. A lot of qualifiers returning here. Lane Frazee, who was a placer last year.
Lane Frazee is mean. That's a mean, strong kid.
That's a great name, though.
Yeah, that was a kid that sent us messages, or his dad had sent us messages. And Fountain Central doesn't wrestle a lot of people, but I got to see him in IndianaMat and last year at state. That is an aggressive, tough kid.
Yes, definitely. He's pretty tough. Tristan Goring, semifinalist a year ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, he ran into a buzzsaw Friday night.
Yeah. You got another Drew Berkelbaugh. You got Ishmael Cornejo. I'm so butchering names tonight. I feel like I'm Mike.
That's what I usually do.
I'm taking your thunder. Yeah, so you got a lot of really good kids there. Cameron Fuller, he's from Greco City.
I want to see a Cameron Fuller, Tristan Goring. Let's get Riley and Jeffersonville together. That's a match I'm trying to see.
Let's throw Michael Johnson in there.
Over under only. You can only go from over under or collar tie. Go.
Tristan Goring likes to shoot shots and come up in double unders. That would be a match I like.
Legs are stupid. Why would you use them?
Why would you grab them?
Yeah, why would you do that? It's a way. Why would I grab a leg when I can throw your whole body?
Hey, Tristan Goring wrestling. I'll watch every Tristan Goring match because they're really exciting. But he has a really good low single also that he just abandons. I'm going throws. Devontae Malone in that way, he likes to throw some guys. I think Christian Warren likes some headlocks. These are some weights that I'm excited about.
Yeah, you got Jordan Rader in there. He's pretty tough. He'll be where he needs. He'll be one that could contend for a medal too. So definitely one you want to keep watching. That whole weight. I think that for an upper weight, usually you see a lot of seniors exit the weight. There's a lot of guys returning, and it should be a good weight class. Could have any.
Zach Fatore is one of those guys that's always right there and then never makes it to the postseason with injuries. Like, I hope he can stay healthy this year and kind of make a run because he's excited to watch also.
Yeah. Moving on up, 182. Moving on up. Nathan Walton, Chin Whip City.
Oh,
Kansas City.
Dad gets so mad when you do that.
I don't have to deal with him, so I'll let you hear that.
Shannon Bryant, I'm really sorry.
Hey,
Nick will buy you dinner or something. Definitely a very talented wrestler. Had a good off season.
he's a pretty talented football player also, right?
Yeah, he some would say he might be one of the best players on Brownsburg's defense. You wouldn't know. The problem with that though is that being the best player on the defense is great, but when you have a nationally ranked All-American quarterback who's on a full ride to Clemson, they don't kind of shine the light on you a lot.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, he brought our whole weight class down on from there.
Yeah.
Tommy Ball got a medal last year.
Yep, he's another big thrower. He'll headlock you out of every position possible.
It's Thomas Dahl and sometimes it's something else Dahl, right? Like, doesn't he go by two first names?
I think what is it?
You can do that.
I think so.
Yeah, Lawrence, isn't it Lawrence?
Lawrence and Thomas Dahl, same guy, I think. If not, they're both getting results, and I missed one of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain his real name is. I'm gonna assume his birth certificate type name is Lawrence, but he goes by Thomas. So,
Big time dog.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume that.
Then you got your boy Lucas here, double All-American at Fargo this year. The whole Chesterton team had a fantastic offseason.
Yes.
Keith Davidson is a monster and also the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, he is. I'm not going to lie, guys. I didn't talk to anyone from Chesterton. I just moved Lucas down a weight to 82. I hope that's where he's at. So I'm not positive that's a real legit thing, but I like how that lineup fits out with Lucas, Andrew, and Picorni.
Yeah, I think he's been wrestling 82 in the offseason, so I'm going to assume he'll be there. Yeah, Joey Blakely played state last year. Bryce Bumgardner. I hate looking at that qualifier. He'll get a medal this year.
Joey Blakely got Lucas Davidson.
Bryson Bethel, man.
Just like as a kind of like people are gonna say Lucas and be like, hey man, why is he ahead of these guys that all got medals? Lucas Davidson was Jake Clamola's only loss last year. Like the state champ at 195. He beat him for a DAC title, lost him, I think like 3-1 at semi-state the ticket round. So like and he's coming down a weight. I like Lucas there.
Yeah, and he'll be a big 82, I'm sure, because I think they lift weights and are big people in that family.
God bless them with some really good genes.
Have you seen Keith Davidson walk around? The dude is terrifying and looks like he's still chiseled out of granite.
Have you ever shook his hand? He'll engulf your entire hand into it.
It's terrifying.
It's like he has bananas on the end of a palm.
Nice. Nice.
It's an awkward visual.
That's a lot of people going to shake his hand and find out some truths.
Just going to call them banana hands.
Yeah, guys like Jake Ruberg going down, Austin Faulkner, they both had some pretty good football seasons. I think pretty certain Lawrenceburg's still wrestling or playing football. Fairly certain that's right. Faulkner, pretty tough football player. I'm pretty certain they have some pretty big genes there too.
Yeah.
Pretty good weight class.
Mishawaka's, I think, out though now, so they should be wrestling.
Yeah, I think they just got beat this weekend. So some pretty good weights, and again, like a bigger upper weight where we have a lot of returning qualifiers and placers and pretty legit guys. I mean, Davidson, like you said, a couple other guys, he had a real good off season. Was a double medalist at Fargo. So definitely look for him to be contending for a state title. This will be an interesting one to talk about. 95. Tante, Stewart, Andrew Davison, David Eli, Corbin Maddox, Wilderman, Kyle Schaefer. A lot of, you're looking at, let's see, all the way through, we got 11 returning state qualifiers or better there. Mike, this will be an interesting weight. What do you think?
How about like Tristan has been there, so obviously he gets the nod at that weight. But you have some really good, like straight athletes in this weight class. Like Tristan Tante is a great like football player, good athlete. Ben Stewart, a great football player, good athlete. Curtis Wilderman. Then you got like Corbin Maddox. They said he's a good football player, good baseball player. Schaefer was out last year. Hankinson. Andrew Davison. If you would have bet me before the state finals last year, I thought that was a collision course with Ripel. Obviously, he lost Friday night. Like that was probably the upset of Friday night to me, in my opinion. But I mean, he put so much work in. He's such a good wrestler. Like this is a way that they could go either way. David Eli has been there, so it's who else? McCormick go forth as a state qualifier. Bradley Philpott's a big move guy. Blake was a qualifier. Or Beck was a qualifier. Hammonds was a qualifier 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're definitely. It's gonna be. Just look how close they are. I know. McCormick wrestled Davison at Scholastic Duels. I don't know if there's like a 3-1 match. Am I right, Nick? Something of that.
That might have been Lucas Davison.
No, he wrestled Andrew.
Did he?
Yes. It was like a 3-2, 4-3.
Well, then Isaac McCormick surprised me.
Nick, you don't know what you're talking about.
But I would
We need
put
to pull that up.
because if it was me, I'd put Andrew at number 1 here. And I agree with Tristan getting the nod there. If it was personally me, I think Andrew's the number 1 guy here. But
yeah.
No, that's you could argue there. I mean, you also a little shout out to Stewart, who I believe is going to Boston College for defensive back.
that's not even a good school.
He's pretty. Yeah.
Did they beat Notre Dame? Are they one of every school in the country?
Possibly.
Take a shot at the house.
It's okay,
Yeah,
Notre
anyway.
Dame.
There's some really good weight classes. There's a lot of parity in a lot of these weight classes where I think there's a lot of depth. I mean, hopefully it works out like this and makes me look good. But like a lot of these weight classes, like filled out really nicely.
Yeah, and Wilderman had a win over Tante at Team State last year, right?
Yep.
So I mean, that's just how close everybody is to each other. It should be a fun weight class.
Yeah.
Hank-
Wilderman was one of the guys that I got the most trash talked to me about last year about how low he is ranked. I hope this is high enough, but I mean, it might not be for them.
Mike throwing out some jabs.
It cuts deep. Sometimes it cuts deep, guys.
Davidson beat McCormick 6-1.
Yes, I saw that.
He didn't want to
I think it was a little bit closer than that. I think it might have been. I think it was a late takedown. I think it was a lot closer than 6-1.
Lucas Davidson beat Isaac McCormick 5-3 in the Blue versus Gorillas match.
Okay, maybe that's the one I was
better-
thinking of. Either
I'm
way,
better than you. I'm better than you.
yeah, whatever.
I agree.
I know where you live. No, I don't. Anyway, cranking on down to 220.
Mason Paris is
Another
terrible.
fun week.
Heavyweight.
Yeah, I want you to say that to his face. I'll see what happens. See if he-
He'll be like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of yours. You're such a nice guy. High five."
I love the show. I thought you were taller.
Yeah, you look taller in the shots. Quick before we jump into that, Karma Lee texted me and told me I had to boost my chair up because she couldn't see me, so I had to make my chair get higher. That was good for the old self-esteem.
I thought you were going for effect with the microphone in front of your face. I wasn't positive.
I like talking like this.
I thought it was just one of them things.
No one else has a boom mic, so I'm cooler. All right, let's go. Mason Paris, that dude's really good. I don't think anyone touches him in the state this year. Gunner, I think you're an okay number 2. I don't think anyone touches him this year. He's really good and scary.
Yeah. Gunner, there's a semi rumor going out that he might be going down to 195.
I think if he wants to win a state title, that's probably the best bet.
Yeah,
I think he'll stay at 220.
yeah. That's where his best. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to say where he'll go, but I mean,
And don't get me wrong, I could definitely be wrong. I just don't see any way anyone touches Mason Paris this year.
yeah.
But-
I mean, they'll touch him, but then
They'll touch him and then they'll get beat really bad. They'll probably get hit in a carry.
Yes.
He's really good.
Yeah. I mean, still, you look down the weight class there. There's some good
Oh,
wrestlers.
it's a solid weight class. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a Fargo All American ranked 9th.
Yes.
So-
Corny.
Isn't
That's
Cal Cornwell a Fargo All-American also? So
Yes, he
9
was.
and 10.
Yeah, he plays eighth at Fargo, according to the magazine.
Nick, you were wrong. You were wrong here, Nick.
I mean, think back. I remember was it
is that
Garrison
the-
Lee? Garrison Lee was ranked what? He was ranked super high last year, wasn't he? And
Yeah,
he's
he was
ranked,
like
and he's
top 8.
and he's ranked 12th here. I mean, it's a good weight class.
Yeah.
I think the depth starts at number 2. I just think he's Mason's outclasses everyone.
Yeah, and that's not a shot at anybody. Like
No.
I think that like when we talk about it, it's not a shot to anyone because Gunnar Larson almost at any weight would be the favorite.
Yes.
But
Mason Paris is also ranked super high nationally. I mean, like he's proven he is by far one of the best in the country at what he does.
Yeah.
Obviously, and this, I mean, obviously this is always going to be up for debate. Indiana probably lost the best 220 in the country. Can we agree? And Gable,
that kid sucks.
but
Can you imagine?
I did cheer for him though at the who's number 1.
he plays to the crowd. He plays that deal well.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine having that weight class that we'd have had last year, adding Gable in there?
Yeah.
That'd have been fun.
And Mason Paris, that's a match I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I know he beat what's the kid from Colorado, Colton Store? What's his name?
Schultz.
Schultz.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
And that kid's ridiculously good. So I mean that just kind of tells you the level of
He's
that.
good hair.
Yeah. One if you guys ever see Harrison wrestle, West Lafayette Harrison, Donnie Kreider, he jumped on our team at Yorktown, and he had a really good. I think he might have had maybe one loss at Disney. Tough wrestler, just tall, lanky, just that weird funkiness that if you watch him, he's fun to watch. He kind of gets himself into weird positions, and you don't think he's gonna come out, and he will come out of that position.
People don't understand how like weird wrestlers can really make a thing. I remember we had a kid beat York at the first round of some regionals, heavyweight. That kid was really into band. Before the wrestling matches, he would listen to Les Mis to get pumped up. So he's pretty weird. But I remember we were wrestling there, and we were up by like a point or something, and you look over, and Hassman's like, "Take a shot." And the kid looks at him just dead seriously and goes, "I'm trying to, but he's awkward." So those kids can win big matches.
Yeah.
Donnie Kreider looks like he might be like one of the strongest 220s. He just looks like a big, strong kid, right? Like
Yeah, he's tall. He's real tall and lanky, but he just finds his way into like weird positions and ends up on top. It's interesting to watch, to say the least. And he's gonna provide. He's gonna give guys fits because
this going to be switched up a little bit too.
Yeah,
I think Brandon's going to be at heavyweight.
Yeah, according to Big Brother, he's gotten bigger. So,
Yeah. Well,
His
that
older brother's
not there to
garbage
be
anyway.
taking people's spots anymore.
yeah. So moving on up, heavyweight. This will be an interesting weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 9 returning qualifiers or better. You got Robert Samuels, who could easily go 220 if he wants. He's still under. He's a IPO runner-up. Isaiah McWilliams had a great tournament, placed 4th. Evan Ellis, who could, he might go back down to 220. I'm not 100% certain.
I think if he stays at heavyweight, right? Like if gun to my head, I'd probably pick him one. Mostly because I just like the kid a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty smart.
But I could see. I would like to watch him and Samuels wrestle. I think that would be the most heavyweight match in a while.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Should be a pretty wide open weight class there, guys. And you have going down. You have Owen Perkins, who was a 2-time state qualifier, semi-state champ last year. Wade Ripple, he had some pretty good wins last year. I'm pretty certain. He was visiting with a school that I saw on Friday night. So and then you got Slick Rick, the Giant Killer.
Slick Rick the Giant Killer. He'll have a tough go to start the season. He starts off we start off at Westfield, so he'll get to see Austin Dolan's right away.
Yeah, that should
All
be
right, Slick Rick.
Slick Rick's a good dude. Doesn't smell great when your face is buried into him, but solid kid.
Ricky Clark had some great wins last year.
Ricky Clark's the kind of kid that grows on you, and he's deceptively quick for what he looks like. He looks like he wouldn't be quick, and that kid's got some moves.
nice. So yeah, it should be. I mean, you have Slick Rick, who's the Giant Killer. He'll take out anybody. And I remember seeing him wrestle Samuels at Folksow State one year, and he had him on his back for a couple seconds, and then Samuel said, "I'm not wrestling on the mat with you anymore."
I mean, I'm just gonna give a quick shout out to the county. We got 3 wrestlers ranked at heavyweight. Bryce Biddle of Plainfield, who didn't wrestle last year, or I think was hurt maybe.
I think he was hurt.
But he's a stud. You got Brett Henson, also a stud. And then Slick Rick Clark, who's here to kill giants.
He only beats ranked guys, so if you're not ranked,
if you're not ranked, you're fine.
Yeah,
he'll just get pinned by them, like if they go to Carroll.
That's a good semi-state, right?
Yeah,
that's a good regional.
Plainfield,
Brownsburg, and Avon are in the same regional. What else? Is there anyone else there in our regional? I don't think so.
You got Jack Williams, the Juggernaut.
Yes, you got the Juggernaut. You got Steve Woolbright, a senior starting for first time for Perry Meridian. Those kids always scare me from Perry.
That guy stepped in and beat the modern day kid Austin Fleck last year.
Nice.
At Team State.
Is Riddle still there?
No, Riddle's wrestling college somewhere, right?
Did he graduate? I didn't know if he graduated.
Yeah, I think he's at Ancilla.
Yes, because I remember he asked something. I don't see. He sent me a picture like talking about Ricky Riddle 3. I was like, what? I was really confused.
Yeah, he was doing like a paper, right? He posted something on the site.
Yeah, he did like a cool paper that I was like, oh man, I'd probably help him out with this. But like he sent me like a thing, like he tagged me on a thing of Instagram, and it was him and Ricky like wrestling. It was like Ricky Riddle 3. I was like, I don't think that's possible.
Nice. Anyway, it's getting pretty late here. We've blabbered for a while. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till next week to add team rankings. I'll let Nick rant a little bit longer, or get a little bit more steam built up.
You sound like garbage right now, just so you know.
Yeah. I've been up since 5:30, so
I'm more the quality of the audio coming out of your computer is garbage.
Are you saying I need some kind of special mic like yours?
Man, if only you had some cool microphone that you can move right in front of your face like this and get real intimate with the crowd. Hey guys.
So if you guys can't see, this is really what Nick looks like. He doesn't know that.
No, that's what I look like. You guys see those abs? Those are real. That's the part that's the realest part of me. Those sick abs.
Look at those muscles.
Looks a little Ken dolly near the bottom there, but we can fix that.
I think Mike's looks pretty good too.
That's $1 million smile, fellas.
We're gonna have Nick Rejon bobblehead night at one of the Brownsburg matches.
December 8th, Brownsburg versus Avon at Brownsburg. There will be DJs. There will be spotlights. Maybe more.
Petting zoo?
I don't know. We're still getting the permits on that. There might be a laser light show. Only to 70s rock. 70s, mostly Led Zeppelin. So you guys know what to do.
No Steel Panther.
Surprisingly, the administration shot down my request for Steel Panther. I believe they may have heard one of their albums live on Spotify now. Steel Panther.
Oh, goodness. So.
Yeah, let's end this. It is late. I will just continue to say that I hope Dane Fueling's brain injury gets corrected before the season starts, because it'd really be a shame if the rankings weren't fixed as they are. I don't know if he fell off a ladder. Yeah, I know he is rebuilding a farmhouse. Those are really big and dangerous. So I don't know if he fell off a ladder or like a cow kicked him in the head. but clearly something is wrong with him. So all my condolences out to you and your family, Dane.
I mean, he didn't even rank Carroll, so I mean that tells you.
I mean, I know he was talking about Calumet too, right, Mike?
Oh yeah,
So
cuts deep. The cuts deep.
that's the deepest of cuts.
Uh,
Yeah.
rank-
So
What
let's.
we
Do you want me to do some outro music?
well, we're not done yet.
Oh,
You know,
are we
starting-
doing team rankings?
No, I was just talking to Mike and asking him when his semi-state rankings were going to be ready. To put him
Do
on
you
the
need them
spot.
ready right now?
Nah.
When do you want them done by?
Whatever you want to get them done.
Well, I feel like when you say it like that, that means you want them done really quick.
No, I just know I know the Newcastle ones are done. They're ready to be posted. I just got to add names.
That's because Howie's on it.
Yeah.
What about Triple Busy? Does he have the Evansville ones done?
I'm
Or is
sure
he silently protesting that as well?
he's silently protesting them. I assume he's silently protesting while following his head.
Is he gonna send us some like weird message from a group chat when we're all making fun of other things?
Yes, probably. We'll accidentally leave that one on there. So, anyway, we'll be releasing the rankings for free in the very near future.
Hopefully everyone enjoyed the magazine. A lot of hard work. I just do the rankings part. That's pretty easy. But these guys do all the writing, which I know is tough. I was in Mexico when it was getting finished.
Yes. And
Sometimes people reach out to me with opinions on rankings and things, and I then give them my very, very honest feedback. Again, condolences to the Fueling family.
you just say I don't do the rankings like I do. I don't do them. I always like people ask me, is so-and-so ranked? I'm like, maybe. Then I have to go look. No, he's not. Oh, yeah, he is. Like four. Yeah.
I just give them the most honest opinion I can give. Oh, your name's Brian Taylor? Oh, yeah, you're on the watch list, man.
Yeah, dude, you're right there.
Yeah.
Real quick, and Joe, to be honest, you might need to check your mic at some point. It does sound like garbage. But for those who couldn't understand, yeah, the rankings will be free. We're going to be putting those out for people to see. So be excited. And maybe I'm just hearing it weird, but I just want to make sure people know what's going on.
Ecstatic, yeah, my end too.
Except
When are you going to release the rankings to the sites this weekend?
This week, probably the next couple of days, I got to just add about 25, 30 new names in there.
That's a load of fun, guys. When you guys said, man, like, what's taking so long? Adding new names is not fun.
No, it's not.
I gotta get grades on people mainly. I have the list of the guys. I just gotta get their grades to make sure they're right. Most of them I know. I mean, I know some of them that are like freshmen and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to get their grades wrong and then hear mom send me angry messages.
You sound like the two ants from The Simpsons.
Patty and Zelma?
Yeah, you sound like. Also, I don't know if anyone's noticed. If anyone is friends with me on Facebook or anything, I've been kind of streaming out me just doing some code stuff for some beta stuff on the site. I'm looking to try to make our lives easier, make it putting rankings and stuff in easier. I'm going to doing some stuff with just some test data. If you guys have any features or anything you'd like to see, don't blow it up on the message board because that'll annoy Joe. Tweet to me at NickyDubs125 if you have any features you want to see. Don't make that feature a mobile app because that's stupid. Just send me something that you think would be cool, and I'll see if I can play around and find something to do with it. But I want to try and make Mike's job easier and Joe's job easier to put people in and add wrestlers, which is, as you may not know, a pain in the butt right now. So
yeah, and it's not too bad just adding them and getting grades and make sure we have all their information, which grades are a pain in the butt to find on some guys that I don't know particularly. I might just throw those names up on the board and ask for grades. Might be easier for me. So, instead of going through track wrestling and trying to find them. So anyway, with that, we'll probably have another hangout next week. Try to get Dane back on here so they can have his little conversations with him.
Well, that's it. That's if the hospital releases them. Real quick, I'm supposed to give a shout out to Ryan Treber. I don't know who you are, but you sent me a thing on Instagram you wanted to shout out, so you're welcome.
Doing it. Man,
You
that's
can
not even a really good
right
plug.
now. Talk to Dane. Tell him how you really feel.
Dane. No, that one looks like it's smart. That one looks smart.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You can buy those bobbleheads at the IndianaMat team store.
Yes. Yes.
You really should have bought way more of those. You could have sold so many.
Or you,
All the ladies would have bought mine.
or you can buy one of these T-shirts that we always wear.
Yeah, we're gonna auction off the bobbleheads, Nick. You'll see who's more popular.
Hey, bid on mine.
Autograph.
You guys, if you buy mine, you get to hang out with this. Do you see her? She's just hanging out. She's doing her thing. She's
So
being my
with
cat.
that, Nick, you gonna do your outro music?
And that's the show. The end of the show. The show is over. Go home. You can't stay here. Yeah.
Thank you and good night.
Yes.